on Thune's leadership cabinet. He joins us now, and it's great to have you on the program tonight. I'm wondering if you can offer us any insight on how these meetings progress. We're all sitting here knowing that we've got the administration wants to pass border legislation, but they also have an economic agenda. And is it going to come in one big, beautiful bill?
Well, first of all, President Trump's made it very clear. He made promises, so he says promises made, and we're going to keep the promises. So promises made, promises kept. The president would like one big, beautiful bill, but he also understands we got to negotiate, and they've got to get it done through the House. And the reason why the House would have to originate the first big, beautiful bill is because it's going to have taxes in it. As we know, taxes have to originate out of the House. If we end up doing two, either chamber could move first, because if we did two packages, that means the first one would be border, would be energy, and would be some regulation stuff in there, and some maybe national security stuff that we could apply finances to. Preferably, though, the president would like to move it all together. If we move two bills, Jackie, it would be the second one's going to be very difficult to move. And I think the first one big, beautiful bill, honestly, is going to be hard. And I think we'd be lucky if we could get it done by Memorial Weekend. At some point, we're going to have to pivot. So we do have a contingency plan here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Senator, you bring up timing and speed. I think that's such an important issue, because the reality is you have businesses out there who are trying to make investment decisions about this coming year. We talked to a couple earlier today. And they love the tax cuts. They love everything having to do with this reconciliation bill. But they've got to know it's happening. And, you know, Memorial Day is a great weekend. It sounds like a long ways away, given the promises Trump has made and the speed at which he's moving. Is that the soonest you can get it done? Or maybe a more unified GOP can move faster than that?
Well, Brian, you got to remember, we got to get the budget top lines before we can even begin the reconciliation. So that was part of the meetings today with the White House. Also, we've got to finish FY25. So we have a lot that we've got to get done before we can even really start reconciliation in a serious manner. Now, we're already having the conversations. We're already talking about it. We're already moving. But there's certain facets that we got to get through. For instance, in the House, right now, there's a question about corporate tax rate increases. There's a proposal that Chip Roy out of Texas has put out that he wants to offset SALT by increasing corporate tax rates. That's a non-starter for so many of us, and including the president, I believe. And so, but at the same time, Chip really is serious about border security and energy because he's from Texas. So the reason why one big, beautiful bill makes sense is because there's more room to negotiate on a one big, beautiful bill. But at some time, Brian, you're right. We might have to break off and do it in two, but preferably the president wants one big bill.
All right, let's talk about a little bit what's happening overseas. Obviously, there's a new sheriff in town, and he's got an agenda when it comes to foreign policy. You've got French President Macron telling Europe that they need to spend more on defense as Trump is taking office. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I was saying yesterday we got a new sheriff in town, and the world leaders understand that. The president has made it very clear it's not our responsibility to take care of all the world, and from security purposes, the world shouldn't depend on the United States as just being there to police everybody and back them up as military if they need us. They need to start doing their part. Being our NATO allies or our UN allies, they have to start doing their part. And the president said, no more. The people around the world, the governments around the world are not taking advantage of us. We're either all going to be in the boat together, rowing together, or you can get out of the boat. And I think he's right by that. So the world leaders are reshuffling. The world leaders, they know that it's better to do business with us than China. We see the aggressiveness that China has put forth. And right now it's really one of the two. China is wanting to become the world leader. They're a communist country. They want to take advantage of countries. They don't want to be partners like us, the United States. We want to partner with you. We want our economies to be joined together. We want our militaries to join together. And so we want to do business with you, but it's got to be a two-way street. It can't be one way. You take advantage of us, and we'll let you. President Trump says we're going to be equal. We're going to be partners in everything.
You know, one of the executive orders from President Donald Trump was a order to suspend all foreign aid for 90 days so that his administration can get its hands around the money going out the door. But to do that, you've got to get all of his cabinet nominees in place. And I know that started.
That's right.
Okay, so Senator Rubio, now Secretary of State Rubio. But you got some big ones this week. And I would say the biggest probably on that front is Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. How do you feel about that one right now?
So we put him out of the committee yesterday at 5. He's been reported to the floor. Same thing with Kristi Noem. We will vote on Pete this week at some point. In fact, there's a chance we could be voting on him Thursday or at 2:30 Sunday morning. Really depends on if the Democrats want to play ball with us. In the past, there's been a negotiation to be able to get the president's cabinets in place. That was held up until really President Trump was put into office in 2016, sworn in 2017. The Democrats tried to obstruct every aspect of it. Republicans paid the favor back when Biden went into office. Right now, we're trying to get agreements, but we will be able to get. We're going to get Pete put through this week at some point. We're going to have Kristi Noem put in place. We're going to put Bassett in place. We're going to have Pam put in place. John Ratcliffe is going to be put in place, and then we'll start another group. But we're going to stay here. I mean, I'm not, as I said, Brian. Right now, we're scheduled to vote at 2:30 in the morning on Sunday if we have to. If we can't get an agreement, we're going to be voting on Pete Hegseth at 2:30 on Sunday morning.
Real quick before we let you go, and I mean real quick, can I just ask you about the World Health Organization? Because the president now ordering the United States to exit from it. We give them a lot of money. We don't get as much back as we would hope to. I mean, essentially, when you look at COVID and China and everything that happened, you've got to question what went on there.
I think after COVID, it's the right move. We weren't treated fairly in that. We saw that China is controlling it while we're funding it. There is no reason for us to partner with the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, at all, especially when they're going to weaponize the World Health Organization. President Trump is correct. And let's pull out of it. And if the other countries want to reform it and kick China out of it, then that's fine.
Senator, you got meetings scheduled for 2:30 a.m. I like the sound of that. Yeah. You're earning your paychecks, sir. We appreciate
that. Everyone's working hard.
Thanks for being here.
Well, Leader Coon's doing a good job.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yep.